Hey, great to see you guys. This is Max and welcome to another video. It was a long time ago since the last one, but I'm here again in order to answer some questions. This time on the experience in depth subreddit, and we had one that says hiring and job hoppers. I am on the hiring loop for my company midsize. I don't do the technical interviews since I'm not senior enough. However, I leave in matching soft skill questions for some candidates. I am not personally driving this, but I have noticed in our thumbs up down sessions post interview there is a new amount of emphasis being placed on whatever or not someone has moved companies a lot. Like if a candidate is on the bubble but has a history of leaving jobs faster than 2 years, then we are not hiring them. Are other people seeing this at your companies? If so, was it considered leaving too quickly? This mattering makes sense in the current market, but I'm curious if this is just my company being risk averse or if a new industry standard is developing with the expectation that it will dissipate during the next boom cycle. So yeah, thanks for asking this. Code Creek, and I think that is the correct way to say to read the username. So regarding to the question in particular, I must say that this isn't a new trend. This is something really old that happens in some companies. I'm afraid to say that this kind of background check happens on more than less companies. But the thing is that I know at least two types of companies that do this distinction for their candidates or for their probable hires. The first one are companies that have lots and lots of knowledge of their business. So in order to have someone who effective could do the job in a successfully way, they might need to train that person, and the training could be so long, too long. So in that case, they will be investing like 1 or 2 months. For example, in my country, as long as I know, is Mercado Libre. In Mercado Libre, you might have at least 30. This is something that I heard from other people, right? Because I I didn't work on Mercado Libre, so it's not first hand information. I mean, but as far as I know, in that company and other similars, you might need to pass training for like the 13 days or something like that, a full month basically. So if you think about that, if you have a candidate that hops from one job to another every 6 months, it's probably that you are gonna lose lots of time training that person in particular, and he's gonna do the same to another place. But there are other kind of companies that do this kind of check for risk aversion, and I understand why this check, because companies try to maximize business try to maximize their gain, their income, and part of maximizing the income is to reduce cost. You get someone needs to train them, or he needs some time to accommodate to the current code base. It's possible that you are losing lots of money, or you could lose a potential client if that person decides to hop from the current shop to another one. I mean, he has a history of doing that. It's probably that he's gonna do it again. But in in my opinion, there are some companies that wanna do that background check because they tend to lowball the offer that they made. For example, in the last weeks from the start of this year 2024, I was interviewing. I had been interviewing in lots and lots of companies, and in some of them they basically and directly lowball my offer. Mm, and I know that it's not lots of money that I'm requesting, but if you have someone who stays a long time because they have a proven history of doing that, and you manage to lowball the payment and basically basically pay less to that person, and you have a guarantee that he's gonna stay or she's gonna stay for 2 years, you are saving a lot of money, and that is good from the perspective of a company that is of the company that is hiring you, right? And I know that in in the best ones that I work, they are not concerned about if the person jumps or not from one job or another, because there are some circumstances that could be external to you, and in those circumstances you can do anything as a as someone in order to avoid that. For example, if you are working in a place that is really amazing, really cool, the pay is not too much, but it's average, and the people is good, and you have a chill place to do your tasks, and you know that those things, right? But unfortunately, the best client, the main one, is is gonna going down, and they decide not working anymore with your business. What are you gonna do? You are gonna probably to fire someone in order to save money, or in the best case, could could the how to say that, not the salary but the hours per per head that you are dedicating to the project. For example, instead of working like full time from 9 to 5, you are gonna work part time, like 4 hours or one day less a week, and say like 20% of the salary in order to stay afloat and avoid firing anyone. But yeah, that depends on the on on that depends a lot on the size of the company, and the way they wanna manage the 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 cash flow of the company itself. So there are some circumstances that are adverse to you, and you can do anything in order to avoid that. So it's really it's really checking that kind of things, something that could predict if the candidate is gonna stay or not. You know, they are really rise adverse, but really rise adverse. There is a common hint, common tip, common how to say this, a common I don't remember the word. It's when you do a recommendation. There is a common recommendation that is repeated, repeat, repeated a lot in this kind of forum related to programming and blah blah, and it's something like, you are a good engineer, everyone is gonna try to employ you because you could adapt to any tech. I mean, yeah, that is the part that says that you are a good engineer, you could adapt, is totally right. I'm totally in that park. But the part that says that anyone will hire you is really not that the reality of the things. If you go to some place like LinkedIn or Indeed or whatever, when you could find a job, in most of the cases, if you miss some of the required things or the preferable things, or if they find a candidate with lots of less experience, like for example, I lose some battles for a job with candidates with, like, I don't know, mm, a half my experience, like 6 7 years. That, yes, it's still solid. I mean, 6 7 years is a lot, so congratulations for getting for go getting the job. But still, they managed to get the job for like 150 bucks less than me, for less the experience and the knowledge, and so yeah, they could be like, if you miss some required or preferable things, we are gonna discard you. But also, if you aren't the most cheaper one, you aren't the cheaper one of the candidates. So it's it's true that you could go through any challenge if you are a good engineer. But for some reason, from recruiters, it isn't it isn't a reality. They don't accept that, so they're gonna give you an interview. So you need to at least partially decide on a particular stack and learn that stack, or that set of technologies if you are a web developer, right? But yes, I think that is my answer to this question in particular, and it's somewhat based on my experience, not only my current one but my previous experience. Anyway, if you have experiences of 1 year or 8 months, list that, because I mean, if you think about that, what is the worst that could happen if you list that time as doing anything, and they discover for some reason that you was working in certain place and you are declaring that you you didn't work on that place. They gonna suspect about you and think that you were fired, and that is worse than thinking that you were doing anything, you know. So list your real job experiences, and you have something too short and have a lot of short experiences, don't, if you wanna, don't list them. But if you don't have any experience, at least some of them, because they may make a difference, right? So that's the at least the reality that I perceive. And remember that this is my opinion, and I hope that this answer helps anyone. So yes, that is all for this video, guys, and see you later. Bye.